Hello everyone, we are from Group 10. Our group consists of 5 people that are Osi, Lautan, Dimas, Vinka, and Elkan. Today's presentations, we will present about the recommendation letter for a job. I am Osi. I will present about what is a letter of recommendation job. A letter of recommendation job is a document that is written and signed by someone who has worked with you. The letter should provide some information such as skills, characteristics, capabilities, achievement, and aptitude of the person who is being recommended admissions to a particular job in a company. Moreover, the contents of the letter of recommendation of employment or job should contain some rules. The first one is who is the writer. In here, you can give a brief explanation about you through the letter. The second one is what. What is her or his qualification or specific skill? For example, you can tell that she can speak 4 languages or 6 languages or 10 languages. It might be good. The second one is what is the person who is being recommended task and responsibility in the job. And the third one is how long the duration of his or her become employer in the previous company. And the last one is why. Why she quit from the job or the reason. For the next part will be explained by Lautan.
Hello, I'm Lautan, and in this part I will explain about the structure of recommendation letter for employment. The structure of recommendation letter for employment is kind of similar with the recommendation letter for scholarship that explained by the previous group. Let's take a look at the structure. The first part is the sender address. Of course, it contains of the sender's information, and then the date of the letter. Next is inside address. Inside address consists of the recipient's name and also the company's address. And then salutation. In the salutations, you open the letter with a formal business greeting, for example like this one, Dear Mr. Jones. If you don't know the recipient's name, you can use Dear Sir or Madam. Next is body. The body of the letter consists of introductions, professional success, and your personal testimony about that person. And then closing. So, let's take a look at the first paragraph. In the introductions, here, I'm writing on behalf of Sally Summers regarding the positions of Museum Curator Assistant at City Center Museum. So in the introduction, you introduce the person you recommend. You can use a positive and enthusiastic word to let the company know that you believe in this person. Also, don't forget to introduce yourself, your qualifications, how you know or meet the candidate. And then, the next few paragraphs you explain about the professional success and your personal testimony. In that part, you explain why hiring the candidates will give a positive impact for that company. You explain why he or she will be a productive workers in the future, and you can explain why they will be a great additions for the job position and also for the office culture in that place. It's also better to provide some evidence, like something like the candidate's achievement, and also you can tell about your experience when you're working with the candidates. And then the closing in the body, in here you have to reaffirm your willingness to recommend the person, and also you offer the recipients to contact you if they need further information about that person. And then the last part is complimentary closing and signature. In this part, you have to use a formal closing and sign your name. If you are sending a physical letter, print it out and then sign it by hand. Otherwise, just tapping your name will be okay. Well, that's all about the structure of recommendation letter for employment. The next part will be explained by Kak Dimas.
Okay, thank you Lautan for explaining to us about the structure of recommendation letter. So now I will explain about the step of recommendation letter. So, writing a recommendation letter can be very intimidating because these letters are generally required for big life events. So the problem is, how can you fit all of our great qualities into one tiny page? So now I'm going to tell you about the steps of recommendation letter. The first one is do your background research. Letter of recommendation can be requested for a reason, especially for job application. So, even if you know everything there is to know about the candidate's current situation, work ethic, and the past success. If you still don't know all the information you need to find out why the recommendee is asking you for a letter and what the readers are going to be looking for in it. So, before you start writing, be sure to ask the following to the candidate. You can ask, like, for the example, what can you tell me about the position of the company you're applying for? Something like that. Or maybe you can also ask about who should the letter be addressed to, and what can you tell me about this person? So, this question will help to guide the content of your letter and will ensure that you are positioning the candidate for the job or award is in the best way possible. The second one is we also need to follow the formula. Letter of recommendation should be addressed three things. The first one is your relationship with the candidate, your evaluation of her work, and how she compares to others. So the first one is explain your relationship. You need to explain the nature of your work with the candidate. Toward the beginning of the letter, this can be a simple statement detailing when you work with her, for how long, and what the capacity is. The next one is evaluate the candidate. After explaining your relationship, evaluating your colleagues' work is the next priority. This should be the meat for your letter. So, the exact content will vary based on what you are recommending her for. For the example, if you know the position she is applying for is in management, you may want to focus on how well she works with your team and her natural ability to be a great leader. And if the position she is applying for is more of a technical position or maybe like a writing position, you can focus on her ability to juggle several projects at one time when delivering results. So the next one is make a comparison to seal a deal. Comparing the candidate to other people you have worked with can be a powerful way to offer strong recommendation. You might say someone is the most effective project manager I've ever worked with, something like that. Or you can also say that she is one of the top 3 employees I've ever managed, something like that. And for the last one is put in the final touch. In order to make the most impact, you need to keep your letter short. It's no more than 1 page, and it need to be to the point. In terms of tone, you want to be formal and professional, but also enthusiastic. because the person that collecting and reading letter of recommendation is likely a busy person and has plenty of other pages to read through. And now we'll also explain about the sample of recommendation letter. So at the sender address, you can see that its content consists of the name and the address, like the street, city, province, and your postcode. And for the next one is you can see we need contact, like your phone number, fax phone, and your email. In that and inside address, it consists of date today, name of employer, company name, and address. And in salutation, we can use something like, for the example, dear Mr. James, dear Miss Smith, something like that. So the next part will be explained by my friend.
Okay, thank you Kak Dimas for explaining to us about the steps and then several samples. Right now I'm going to continue Kak Dimas' explanation about the sample. Before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Vinka and my student number is 131. As you can see in this slide, this is the sample of body paragraph and then the complementary closing and signature. There is actually introduction, professional success and personal, testimony or experiences, and then closing inside the body paragraph. So I will explain the introduction first. The introductory paragraph should briefly describe the author's professional relationship with the candidate and the length of time that they have known the applicant. It should also express the intention of the letter, which is to recommend the employee or the candidate in a question. And then, the body paragraph. The body of the letter will contain one or more paragraphs which describe the duties the candidate carried out as an employer or intern, their positive character traits, and any value that they added to a team or enterprise that went beyond their job description. If possible, specific examples should be used in order to make the recommendation more convincing. And the last one, in a body paragraph, also we use a conclusion. There is a conclusion inside the body. The conclusion should feature a summary of the candidate's qualifications and statement of the author's recommendation, an invitation for further communication, a formal sign-off, and the author's signature above their type name. As you can see in this slide, this is the complementary closing and signature. You can add your signature and type your name in this part. Okay, and next we are going to talk about the tips on writing recommendation letters. I will explain two of the tips and Elcado will continue it. Okay, the first one is think carefully before saying yes. Only say you will write the recommendation if you can recommend the person without reservation. If you're asked to write a reference and don't feel comfortable giving one, it's appropriate to politely decline the request for references. And second, follow a business letter format. Use the official business letter format when writing your letter. If time is of this essence, you might consider sending a recommendation email instead of a letter. Review this list of
the information that should be included in a recommendation letter. So, the next explanation will explained by Elkado.
Hi, I'm Elkado and I will continue the explanation. The others tips are: focus on one or two traits. In the body of your letter, focus on one or two qualities in this person that make him or her a good fit for the job. Provide specific examples of ways in which the person has demonstrated these various traits in the past. And then remain positive. State that you think this person is a strong candidate. You might say something like, "I recommend this person without reservation." You want to help this candidate stand out from the other applicants. The next one, focus on the job description. Ask the person for whom you're writing the letter for a copy of the job description. This way, you can focus on the requirements of the position. Try to include language from the job description in your letter. Even if you are writing a more general recommendation, you can still ask the person about the types of jobs they will be applying for. And then, explain how you know the person. Begin your letter with the basic information. If you have known the person for a long time, be sure to emphasize this. The next tips: share your contact information. Provide a way for the employer to contact Provide a way for the employer to contact you if they have further questions. Include your email address, telephone number, or both at the end of the letter. And the last tips: follow the submission guidelines. Ask the person for whom you are writing the letter how to submit it. Make sure you follow any requirements, especially about where and when to send it and its requested format. For example, PDF, physical letter, or etc. If there is a submission deadline, be sure to submit it prior to the due date. So that's all from us. Thank you very much. Stay healthy and goodbye.